Radiation. Just the word can feel terrifying, right? I remember when I was told I would have to do radiation after my breast cancer diagnosis, I had so many questions and so many fears. I was wondering if this was going to help me or would it hurt me? I was wondering if my skin would burn. I was wondering if I would feel anything. I had so many questions. And if you've been wondering these things too, this video is for you. I'm not a doctor, but I am your breast cancer bestie. My name is Jen Delvaux, and I have been through radiation. Today, I want to share my personal story with radiation, what you can expect, maybe answer some of those questions that you have, best tips, best practices, what helped me get through it, and mindset shifts as well. All right, off to the show. My exact diagnosis is invasive ductal carcinoma, stage 1, grade 2. What I did first was I had a lumpectomy. And then from those results, we sent it in for the Oncotype score. And the Oncotype score was in that gray area. It was a 21. Definitely showed that I needed radiation. So we're going to talk all about that today. But it also showed that there was the potential possibility of chemotherapy. But my oncologist did a little more research and she felt very comfortable with shutting down my ovaries with Zoladex injections. I was premenopausal. And then putting me on an aromatase inhibitor, which is a hormone blocking med. I will do a deep dive on hormone blocking meds and my thoughts on it and how you can protect your bones as you're navigating it and all the things in a future video. So make sure you are subscribed to the show. But today's going to be all about radiation and my experience with it. I was so scared, and I just want to share some things that really helped me navigate it, and hopefully this can help you as well. Before you even do that first radiation treatment, there's almost like a practice one where you go in, it's a simulation where they actually have a mask of your breast. They create a mask. So when you do go in for that actual radiation, your first one, they can line you up with those beams so it's targeting exactly what it needs to target. In fact, you're going to get these lovely little tattoos. You can't see them, so don't worry. But I have 3 dots somewhere on my body and they line you up. So that's kind of an easy day. You're actually not going through radiation treatment. They're just making sure that everything is set up for that first appointment. I will never forget my drive to that first appointment. I was so scared. I was listening to something on like a podcast or something to get my head right. I couldn't hear anything. There were so many nerves. I was so scared. I just didn't know what to expect. And I remember I checked in. I went into my little locker, grabbed a robe, went into the changing room. And here's one tip. I always scheduled my radiation appointments first thing in the morning. If you could do that, I highly recommend it because sometimes there's only so many radiation machines. Sometimes a machine breaks down, somebody runs late. And so if it's later in the day, it can sometimes take longer. So I always did it first thing, and I was typically right on time or even sometimes a little bit early. So you go into the changing room, you put on your little robe, and you have to make sure your skin, you have nothing on your skin, no deodorant, no lotions. And then I went into this little waiting room. I remember sitting in this waiting room because they set it up kind of like a spa. I'm like, oh, if only it was a spa treatment. I sat there waiting, and I remember the tech came and got me. I was so scared. I can literally see myself right now walking down that hallway. And I entered the room, and my radiation machine had lashes and a bow. For some reason, that made me feel like I could do this. I've always been a girl that wore lashes. It just makes me feel better. And when I saw that my radiation machine had lashes, I was like, okay, I can do this. So what happens next is you have about 4 techs around you, and your body, you just have to have your body be like dead weight, and they position you. So you lay on a blanket, they position you and move you around and get you lined up. And I remember as that was happening, somebody had given me this tip. It was such a good tip. As I'm laying there waiting for this to happen, or even during, I would pray for somebody else. In fact, I would text that person in the morning and say, hey, I'm going to be thinking about you and praying for you during my radiation treatment this morning. And in turn, they usually do the same for you. I'd pray for the organs, that my organs were being protected, that this was going to pop any cancer cells that were still existing there, and that I was going to get through this and be just fine. That really helped me. And so you just lay there and they position you. And then at the end, They all leave. You're actually holding, there's two bars that you're holding behind you, which feels a little barbaric. I'm not going to lie. And then you're in a sealed room, which is a little bit scary. And then they're in another room watching, and then the radiation starts. So, one thing I want to share with you, I have left sided breast cancer. So, if you have left sided breast cancer, one thing you have to do is you have to work on holding your breath. When you do that, what that does, that elongates your heart. So it gets your heart out of the radiation beam. This is if you have left sided breast cancer. Before actually the first radiation started, I would practice breathing at home. I would set my timer on my phone and I would go through how long I could hold my breath. I was like kind of impressed with myself. So I knew in that treatment how long I could hold my breath. So what happens is they start and the beam starts slowly going around you, and I would start counting. And that was actually a big distraction for me too. So I would know how long I could hold my breath. And then if I stopped breathing, the machine automatically stops. Because I remember first being scared, like, what if I start breathing again and the radiation machine is still going? It stops. So don't worry. And honestly, that part of it, I think, is about 5 minutes, maybe 6 minutes. The longest part is them positioning you. And then you're finished. I remember leaving that appointment thinking, I'm so badass. Like, I cannot believe I just did that. I am so proud of myself because I was so scared going in. I think whenever we accomplish something that seems so scary, it just gives you confidence that you can get through this. One other tip that I highly recommend is bringing radiation cream with you. I'm going to talk about a few that I recommend here in just a minute. So before I would get dressed, I would slather it all over my breast, all under my arm, even into the back a little bit. Now, one thing, I'm dark complected. I have olive colored skin, so I did not burn as much. Again, we're going to talk about that in a minute. But having that on you right away is fantastic. And then you're going to want to put that on several times throughout the day. But that is exactly what it looks like. And as you start going, you get used to it. It becomes easier and easier and easier. Now, I want to dive into how you might feel, how this might affect you. Listen, one thing that's so important is some women power through this and some don't. Some are exhausted with fatigue. That was me, and I was not expecting it. I had a girlfriend that was going through it a year later. She powered through. So when you hear somebody's journey with it, that doesn't mean that's going to be yours. So just keep that in mind. All of our bodies are unique. They all work differently. So I always want to make sure I preface that first. So what does it feel like? The treatment itself doesn't hurt. At least it didn't for me. And I don't hear that from many people, but there's a buildup. Eventually the fatigue can set in. Honestly, one thing that I think I should note is I had implants prior to my diagnosis. I remember asking the doctor, am I okay to get this radiation with my implants in? And he said, typically it's fine. There shouldn't be any issues. I remember that first day, and normally there's not many symptoms according to my doctor. But after that first radiation treatment, that breast felt enlarged. It felt like it had just gone through a battle, a little trauma, which it had. So I did notice something right away. But as far as like it didn't hurt, I felt different in that breast. And then as that week, that first week and even leading into the second week, I really, really, really started getting fatigue. I put on cream religiously 5 times a day, and I listened to my body. One thing that helped me is I really wanted to spend 30 minutes in my gym. For me, working out is my therapy. And if I was like, if I could just get this done, I can rest through the rest of the day. And so I would go down to my gym. I would hop on my treadmill. I'd get a walk in. I would maybe lift some weights. I was careful. Listen, I think when you are in the middle of healing, we need to be kinder to our body. So I would do more restorative type workouts like yoga or just some deep stretching. Like I said, moving my body, some lighter weight for strength training. But I kept up with that because that literally was my sanity. And then I would lay on my mat in meditation. Sometimes for 30 minutes, I would just lay there. This was one thing that helped me so much. I cannot recommend meditation enough. I was so out of control with fear when I was first diagnosed, and I found this app Unplugged. Listen, there's a whole bunch of free ones for you. In fact, I created my own meditation. I'll link it below. It's a free meditation that you can listen to and download yourself. But it was one thing that helped me navigate this. And listen, I'm that type A personality. I am not the type of person that can sit in meditation. I've tried this for years, but I knew instinctively, I knew intuitively I needed this. My body needed to heal and it needed to feel peace. And I felt that within meditation. So I highly recommend adding that in throughout the day, even if it's 5 minutes. Like sometimes people think, I don't have time to do meditation. It's okay. It can be 2 minutes. It's literally just slowing down, going within. It could be looking outside. It could be taking a walk. Whatever feels good to you is the most important thing to do. During this time, when that fatigue crept in, I gave myself grace. And I think that's really important not to power through this time. Your body is going through something enormous. And right now, rest and recovery is the best thing you can do for yourself. So on the days where you're super tired, allow yourself to be tired. Allow yourself to sleep. Give yourself grace if you're struggling. It is so normal. Now, of course, double check with your doctor on all these, but here's just some recommended products. I actually found one that I ordered online called My Girls. Actually, the woman who created it also went through breast cancer and radiation herself, but you can also use, I have a body oil that I use. You could use aloe vera. You could use Aquaphor. I always tried to get a cleaner version, but I will share below this video some different ideas for you as far as radiation cream goes. Some other tips I recommend is just wearing loose clothing. Try not to have a really tight bra, and I went and got all new bras. I definitely recommend, oh my gosh, if you need intimate wear after breast cancer, Anna Ono, they're a sponsor for this show. She's incredible. She went through breast cancer. Her whole line is for women who've gone through breast cancer. So I will share that below as well. But definitely want to make sure you're loose fitted clothing, keep up your nutrition, making sure you're getting enough fiber, enough protein, eating healthy. And listen, give yourself grace on the days where you're struggling and on the couch and you just want to watch Netflix and be sad and mad and just watch a show. Like that's okay during this time. You have to allow yourself to have these days. It is so normal. You'll have a new day tomorrow, but allow yourself to feel all the feels. That's so important. You cannot heal if you're in a state of chronic stress. You're not weak for struggling. This is a big deal. So make sure to give yourself grace. What I wish I knew before radiation, it's not as scary as the word sounds. You kind of get into a routine after you get started. The actual treatment is painless unless you're dealing with some burns, but stay on top of those ointments. Remember, this is temporary and you will get through this. If you're needing some more support, I created Not Today Cancer, the blueprint from results to rising. It has everything from diagnosis to thriving after and everything in between. There's videos, there's texts, there's downloads, there's meditations, there's recipes, there's workout ideas, there's everything in here. So I will have that below if you want to check it out. But I am so happy you took the time to check out this video. I am here for you every step of the way. And please, if you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe, share this with a friend, maybe somebody else that's going through it. And we will see you all soon.